Hello, mates. Welcome back to another video. Yeah, episode 6. Oh boy, I don't know where to start. Alright, for those of you that haven't read the Percy Jackson books and don't want to be spoiled for what happens, I'm gonna be spoiling things that happen at the end of the book. And also, oh, future books in the series. So, click off now. This video will still be here when you get back. I can watch it either after you've read all the 5 books or after the series is done. It will still be here. Here, I'm not going anywhere. Alright, with that out of the way. Okay, so we see more of Kronos, which is really interesting. We don't. And by see more of Kronos, I mean he's no longer covered in like a hood and just this hoodless, spooky figure. Or we actually see what his face looks like, which I'm kind of surprised about. I was honestly expecting them to keep him as this faceless figure throughout the entire thing. Thanks to that, it could keep him a little bit more, not scary, but mysterious and intimidating of, oh, you have no idea what he looks like. All you know is his voice. But this was a pleasant surprise when I'm like, okay, hey, cool. And then, there, and of course, Percy is dropping in on the, doesn't see who the lightning thief is. Actually, the lightning thief doesn't even reply, which, for a series like this, that's good, because in the book, The Lightning Thief, Luke, normally, of course, talks. And talks to Kronos and whatnot, but in a show like this, as soon as you hear a voice, you're going to connect it to someone else and you're immediately going to know who it is, whereas in a book, hearing, oh, it was something vague, the voice was vaguely familiar, but I can't figure out who it is. It's sort of a thing that you're not going to connect the dots very easily and figure out who it is like you would in a show. So, good call on their part. And of course we had this really cool practical effect with the rainbow that they used to talk to Luke, which apparently in order to get that rainbow effect, they put a phone light through a bottle of some kind, and that caused it to cause that rainbow effect, which is really cool. And of course they talked to Luke. I love how I didn't finish that thought. Oh, I love how manipulative Luke is being with the situation and pretend he's not the lightning and thief. And also, he calls Annabeth and Percy an old married couple. I'm like, well, Luke clearly has joined the ship train of those two, so good for him. And which I guess that means they're probably gonna drop the whole Luke of Annabeth having a crush on Luke, maybe? yeah, I'm not sure. That's for future seasons for us to find out. Well, we don't see Percy talking with horses. Like, we can't get him to understand. Like, we don't have him realize, oh, I can hear the zebra and not that. That's weird. Weird. And so I realize, oh, that's because of because my father's beside Aiden. And also, I feel like we didn't see a zebra at all once they let that, we can let, when they let the animals out, I don't think we saw a zebra at all. Oh, which is weird because the episode title, I'm pretty sure, is We Take a Zebra to Vegas, and I don't recall seeing a zebra at all. Oh, the music is good at the casino, and then Annabeth, and then of course because the main reason why they're here is to find Hermes. Is why they're gonna just stumble in here? I don't know, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah, and then of course they split up. And Grover is on his own once again. And Percy and Annabeth are together as they try and find Hermes, which Annabeth goes and explains in Luke's not whole backstory, but basically explains his mom problem of, oh yeah, Luke's mom, May Castellan, has had something happen to her. She used to be able to see through mist, and then something went wrong, and Luke's always blamed her for that. Which is making me wonder, well, so we're just giving Nico's lines to Annabeth now? Because it's Luke. Sorry, because he's the one that explains his backstory, which is kind of weird, because, just to explain that, oh, Hermes and Zai get along, you could have just left it there and sort of, no, and then, for interactions we could, because I feel like if you just cut out that explanation in part, you still would have seen why Luke was angry at Hermes, of him just, he just plays in the Lost Casino, things like that. Like, I don't get it, why they felt the need to include that right now. I feel like they should have waited for season 5 for that. Because also, I feel like Annabeth would want to keep. It also feels weird that Annabeth is open up about Luke's past, where I feel like she herself would want Luke to tell Percy. You sort of thing, like, it feels out of character that she's telling Percy, oh, this is what Luke's backstory is. I feel like she'd more be like, I'm gonna keep his stuff private because he should be the one to tell people, sort of thing. But while the explanation is going on, we've got a name for mortals that can see through the mist, a seer. Well, it's great that we have a term for that, so just, oh yeah, some mortals can see through the mist, and just leave it at that. It's sort of like, children of the Big Three, that was sort of just like, yeah, you're children of the Big Three, and you're not supposed to be alive, sort of thing. And the only thing is, I hope I don't confuse it with that term with oracles, because to me, because when I think of seers, I mostly think of people who can, see into the future and whatnot, and that's very similar to oracles, so I get what they were going for. I just feel like I'm gonna get a little bit confused. Is the I do like how they explore Moral Grover's past with him meeting a satyr named Augustus. This and sort of gets more into what the others were doing, because we never really saw that in the book unless Percy had a dream about them. So yeah. And then I was like, so I guess him going with the satyr to help him is what causes him to get trapped in the casino, and that was partially correct. He does get trapped and forget what's going on, but it's because he's alone, not because he gets lured and accidentally eats something. Or they spray him with some magic or something, and it's literally just, oh, you're alone, so it's easier to forget, which I really like that touch. Makes sense. And so, well, that's a whole entire Grover B plot is going on. Percy is telling Annabeth about his dream, and there's more trouble. It's sort of him realizing, oh, this is something even bigger than we were originally expecting, because this is odd. Sort of thing, and of course they're still like, oh, is that... And they're sort of realizing that it's Hades and whatnot, which I didn't write this out, but I wondered if Cronus assumed the looks of Hades, but used Cronus' voice, so that way he could further confuse Percy. Or maybe he didn't even think that far because he assumed that because he assumed that Percy still had the shoes. Well, it's Grover that has them. But yeah, as I mentioned, I'm not sure about Percy already knowing about Luke's mom already. I feel like they really should have saved that. That it'd be like, to me, it's like Harry knowing the prophecy instead of book 5. They tell him it immediately at book 1. Or the first movie instead of book 5, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's for that to happen like that. It feels like it should be, more like find out about Horcruxes at like book 2, being told, oh, or something like that, or book 2 or book 1, very early, like, yeah, I've always got Horcruxes. We have no idea what they are, but that's how he's staying alive. And that feels so out of character. And then of course they meet her. He mentions that him and Luke only met once. Or I think it's I've only seen Luke once, sort of thing, but they won't see each other at the winter solstice, which is when Luke stole the bolt. So So, yeah, so it's weird. It's not a big deal, but to me, it's one of those things where it's like, you maybe could have phrased that better, because it makes it seem like, oh, that's the only time we saw each other. Oh, we never attended the solstice sort of thing, which he definitely would have. And of course, and Beth and Percy start to forget why they're there, or sort of thing. And I originally wrote, why won't Hermes help them? Because Hermes refused, because he does in book 2, so it doesn't make sense. And then later, as the show went on, I realized, oh, he was just pretending not to help them, so that way Hades has to yell at him, and he gets in trouble, and he can just be look, they pickpocketed my keys. I don't know what you. Sorry. Of course, we have Percy assuring Grover when Grover's like, oh, is it my fault that we're late? And Percy's like, no, it's not. Sort of thing, which is absolutely true. It's not his fault at all. No, of course, as they're trying to leave with the taxi, I'm surprised they let Percy drive and not Annabeth, because I feel like they've been like, well, you're the smart person, you'll be able to figure it out, but whatever. Although, they have that classic trope of Grover in the middle seat. See, when you have 3 people, so you just put one in the middle. So that way, because which is weird, because they didn't do that in the first episode. So interesting that they choose to do that here. Here, but maybe both those episodes were directed by 2 different people. I don't remember off the top of my head. Of course, Percy crashes a few times. I was like, don't worry, Percy, you'll probably get better at driving. Probably. And then, of course, Percy mentioned and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna see his dad," sort of thing. Thing goes to me, and I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be disappointed when you thought it was your dad all along and it couldn't." But then they wrote a twist that I really like, that Poseidon was actually gonna meet Percy. However, because Percy arrived so late, like he couldn't meet his dad, so instead he meets Nymph and is given the pearls. But instead of 3, like it is in the book, it's 4, which is confusing because I thought Percy had to learn to let his mom save herself and sort of, having to choose. Or, they have that moral quandary of who goes first sort of thing and whatnot, and kind of worried about it, because it also it bugs me, because here's something. I understand that you can't put everything in adaptation, and it is possible and that you're going to change things, but impossible, so you gotta cut some things out. But I like adaptations to be as close to the book as you possibly can. It's why I'm not a huge fan of the Harry Potter movies after book 3. It's why I hated in the first 2 Percy Jackson movies. Because that's why there's some little annoyance. That's why I'm getting annoyed with these changes they're making. And especially regarding ones like that feels out of character sort of thing. It's like, I know if there's something like, okay, I know you gotta do this, like you gotta get them to Hogwarts or Camp Half-Blood as soon as you can, so you gotta move that forward. And it's not gonna be as multiple days and whatnot, but some things where it's like, but there's some things where I'm confused about why you would change that, and it doesn't make much sense. So, I don't know, maybe I'll like there is, so normally I don't look at anyone else's thoughts before I've recorded these. And I also normally don't talk about the end credits thing and just mention, oh, there's something in there that I'm worried about. But someone pointed out that the Grover legend, what about you, since they're panicky in the preview that we see for the next episode, this sort of indicates that, oh, maybe they lose one of the 4 pearls. And therefore that narrows it down to 3, which I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that, because it feels like if you're going to lose a 4th pearl, well, and you're going to purposely give 4, like, why not just keep it at 3? Like, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. I'll have to see when the time comes. Hopefully, maybe the way they go about losing it is good, and I'll be fine with it. But until that time comes, I am worried. But yeah, that's been my review, so let me know if you agree, disagree, anything you think I forgot to mention. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!